Hamed won that round because even though they split knockdowns, his knockdown was more convincing and he landed more punches in the rest of the round.
Naseem is getting hit with punches. He's causing himself to be off balance by throwing his head back and forward. But the knockdown that Kelley received was a true knockdown, not off balance, pure power.
Well, Naseem breaks so many rules of textbook boxing, it's as though he not only hasn't read the book, he hasn't looked at the table of contents. Leans his head back, ducks from side to side, trying to get away from punches. Takes a hard left from Kelley there. And lands a hard right hand of his own.
That was power by Naseem.
Well, one time he's going to leap too often and he may leap right into a Kelley punch, and that would be it. As Phil Borges said, if he leaps, he sleeps.
Kevin Kelley's got true power. He's real accurate with his straight left hand.
Oh, when you're fighting against a powerful, good boxer like Kevin who has good balance, you better watch your own balance. And bad balance contributed to that second Kelley knockdown of Hamed in round 2. Now Kevin starting to try to establish the straight right jab.
That was a good jab by Kevin Kelley that did some damage.
Kelley lands a left cross. Hamed ducking, sliding along the ropes. Not throwing as many punches in this round. Hamed seeming to have gone into a little bit of a caution state here as the result of the damage that Kevin Kelley's been able to do.
Yeah, it's the jab by Kevin Kelley that's being most effective now. If he just maintained that right jab, he can make this an easy fight.
And as we pointed out, that's another thing Phil Borges said. He said, my man has the better jab and the longer reach. How's Hamed going to get past that? In other fights, he's had his ways, but he hasn't been in with anybody as good as Kevin Kelley.
Hamed seems to see dropping his hands and there's not getting him any advantage. So dropping those hands with Kelley can call good night. Got to keep your hands up with a guy like Kelley.
Right now, Hamed seems less unorthodox than just confused on how to break through Kelley's guard.
They trade right hands. Kevin's was the harder of the two. Good left uppercut by Prince Naseem. Right hand lands again as well. Naseem starting to come out of his shell and get more aggressive again.
You want to say to Naseem, stop pulling back with your head, but then you lose the total fighter.
You wanted to say that to Muhammad Ali, too.
Yeah, but you lose the total fighter because they do what they do. It makes them so good.
Let's go, let's go. Face that way. Sit down. Sit down. Good box. Look at me.
You're not listening.
If you don't use your jab and if you don't move your head, we're going to run into difficulties, and I don't want that. What we worked on to get this guy out of here was our tempo. Correct?
Gotcha.
When you're hunting a peanut, think what you did to Craig. Think what you did to Flat Top. Think what you did to Judah. Think all these things, how you let them hands go. Why all...
Bang, step back, bang, step out. You get him up. You got me? Just don't get in a war with him. Pick him off. You will gradually break him up off your jab. Yeah. You understand? Bing, bing. Bang, then come back with it. Got me? You break him up on it. He's had his fun now. He's had his fun. You start giving it to him.
So now it's Brendan Engel, Prince Naseem's trainer ever since he saw him on a schoolyard when he was 7 years old, asking his fighter not to get into a war. He wants him to pick Kelley off with his jab. Ping, ping.
That's not an easy thing to do. When you're fighting a boxer with a jab, you almost have to war. Get into a war. Kelley's got a good left jab, right jab.
He sure does. Naseem lands a couple power punches. Kevin Kelley lands a hard left hand. Kelley misses with the right and misses wildly with the right. But Naseem not in a position to counter either time. Hard left hand up top by Prince Naseem Hamed.
Okay? Watch the head. Let's go. Watch that elbow.
that Kevin Kelley is getting the best of the counterpunch, and you would expect the opposite.
They trade in short bursts and flurries. Naseem landing more accurately in this round than has been the case before, but taking some leather in return. Down goes Kelley on 2 hard left hands.
6, 7, 8,
Now they're even. Both fighters down twice in the fight.
Ooh, a good
Blistering
straight
right hand by Hamed. Kelley a little slow to respond here.
You got to be careful mixing up with Kelley because he can fight.
And that's going to be ruled a knockdown as Naseem's glove grazed the canvas. So there's the count for that. Third knockdown of Hamed by Kelley, and the Naseem advocates in the crowd boo that. Hard left hand by Kelley, and a right hand shot. Leaping right hand by the Prince, and a hard left, and Kelley's down for the 3rd time.
Whoa! 6, 7, 8, 9.
He's got a half a minute, and he is
gone.
definitely hurt.
He's
and the
for real.
fight is over.
He's for real. The Prince is for
Unbelievable
real.
punching power, George.
It's almost like De La Hoya. You don't know where they get the power from.
What we just saw was the Hagler Hearns of featherweight fighting. We have never seen a fight like this in the featherweight division on this level.
Unquestionably the most memorable fight of 1997, and Kevin Kelley doesn't want it to end.
What were there in this fight? 6 knockdowns.
All right, let me give him some air. Let me give him some air. And I'm the best. And you're going to do it again, right? And you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
You're going to do it again.
Stop for more money, motherfucker. I got to kill the cameras, boy.
We're going to do this again. Let's go. Give me water. Give me water. Sit down.
You heard Hamed say to Kelley, "You're the best I ever boxed, and I'm the best you ever boxed."
Whoa.
I'm telling you, they like each other. It is abundantly clear from the body language, and you heard Phil Borgia, Kevin Kelley's trainer, trying to get Hamed to commit to a rematch right there on the spot. And George, who wouldn't want to see it again?
Oh, I would love to see it again. I want to see that entry again.
Everything he said he was, and more. Prince Naseem Hamed.
The difference, power. When you have power and people underestimate you, you can win a lot of fights.
George, this was like your fight with Ron Lyle.
Oh.
Gunslinger against gunslinger.
Boy, this guy's got power all in his hand. He's not putting his body into it, just hand speed.
That was the first Prince Naseem knockdown of Kelley in that round. Then here's the Prince going down.
I don't really think that was a knockdown. I think that this guy stooped so low, he has a tendency to touch his hands down to the canvas.
Well, if his glove grazes the canvas, the referee is within his rights to rule it a knockdown, and Benji Esteves did. And
Wow.
then that stunning left hand, and Kevin Kelley unable to get up from that left hand. He couldn't beat the count, and Esteves very properly waved an end to the bout.
A lot of that is, I just can't believe it. Kelley has that look. He just does not believe this guy can knock him down.
Well, Kevin's people have been saying for weeks, we want him to box. We hope he doesn't indulge his tendency to get into a war. He couldn't resist it. Couldn't resist it. It seemed too easy.
But this Prince, he has the Prince of power. Talk about the Prince of power. We've seen one in the
5 feet
lighter
3
weight.
inches tall, but George at 5'3", of course, he's a little stockier than